Welcome to Emmanuel's Promise Farm. This is the project we were working on for the corral for the Kiko goat. As we left before, we had installed the gate. We stretched out the fence. We ran the fence all the way to the other end of the fence, and we attached it to the old fence. On this project, what we're actually working on is the electrical side, where we had mentioned on our introduction. We've gone ahead and installed some of the T-post insulators around the area that we have fenced. We've also installed some of the wooden insulators. What I'm going to do is show you how we had to improvise on the T-post. As you can notice, the insulators, normally they're on this side of the fence. However, and not anticipating, ahead of time that we were going to do an area for the goat years ago when we threw the original Paddock. So we've had to improvise, and I'll show you what I had to improvise on the insulators to put it on this side. It's secured, it's going to work, and that's some of the things that you learn on your farming or homesteading. A lot of the stuff you have to improvise, and you just go along with the flow. So if you pause for 1 second, I'm going to show you how I did that, and we'll take a tour of the area for the Kiko goat. Okay, real quick, some of the things that I want to point out that we either tools or materials that we use for this electrical side of the area that we're working on. Starting from here, string. If you want to throw a straight line for these insulators and make it look straighter, I went with the contour of the land. So I didn't use the string so much on this area. I did use it on the far end when we're going to show you later on how we connect it to the main controller. Electrical tester, very important. If you want to make sure that the wire is hot, this way, once you get near it, it would beep and light up. Here's your rubber handle, gate handle, and what that does is going to close the circuit from in front of the gate. And I'll show you where we hook up the wire on one side and we stretch it to the other end, closing the circuit so that you got a complete electrical circuit running through the whole area. These are the two types of insulators. Here's the one with the nail insulator. Okay, I'll do two so you can see how these were nailed. And then the other ones are the T-posts. As you can tell, they're different. One wraps around the T-post, okay? And I'll show you how I had to improvise by using this little hole in the center to fasten it on the opposite end of the T-post, okay? And, hammer and some dikes. And here's my 14 gauge wire that I'm going to run in a few minutes and show you how we're going to run it through these insulators, and then my final connection. And then the final step will be connecting it, making it live wire from the Paddock to the existing controller that's actually electrifying the other Paddock. So sit tight, and we're going to pause for a second, and then we're going to go through the steps of what I just explained. Okay, sit. What we're going to do is I'm going to install the nail insulator to this pole here. We're going to do two of these, and then, like I said, two of the T-posts and how we secure those. So for those of you, there's a hole there already pre-drilled. Okay, you insert the nail through those holes. Pretty much on this, I went by the height of the fence here, roughly. Okay, that's secure there. Let's get through another one. You insert it. Eyeballing it here, roughly. Okay, that's two. That's how you fasten to the wood posts. Now we're going to do the insulators to the T-post. Now normally, the way these insulators are done, it's on this side. Okay, and basically you just pop it around and that will be it. However, as you can tell, it's facing the opposite direction. So what I have come up with, it's my way of improvising, is to, as you can see, I've already done most of them except these two here. I'm going to fasten them for you and show you how I did it by utilizing this little hole and some wire. I wrap it around this way. Okay. I insert it straight down here. Now that I got it on this side, what I'll do is I'll take the wire, feed it through, get it nice and leveled, come around the other side. Take it and I'll start tightening up the wire on this side, as you can see right there. Okay, this one gave me a little bit of a fit, so we went ahead and paused it. But now I'm going to cut the excess wire so that the animal doesn't get poked. Okay, let's try that on the other one now. Same deal. You snap it in place. You take your wire. You come in through. And you feed it to the other side. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because the insulator wants to pull in that direction. So by fastening it on this side first, it's actually securing it better. It's putting more of the tension on this side. So as you can see, it's nice and tight. Cut the excess, and boom. Now we're ready to run our wire. Now what I wanted to point out was, you see the Kiko goat, that's a gopher pen that we had bought years ago to transport the animal. But because the weather had changed and the original intention is to put a permanent shelter in, we had to improvise because the weather had changed. It was raining, it got cold. I got up to like about 27 degrees. So to give them a little bit of protection, we threw that together. We threw a tarp over it. So again, it's a way of just sometimes improvising and just doing what we had to do on the farm. So pause it for 1 minute and we're going to show you, I'm going to run the wire and then make our connection to the gate and then tie it into the main electrical box. So we'll be right back. Okay, here we are. As you can tell, we ran our wire. Okay, we've gone through our insulator all the way around the paddock, as you can tell. And like I said, improvising on the insulator, as you can tell, it works. It's nice and solid. So, you know, there's always room for adjustments. Okay. What we did, we ran the spool through this rebar. And as Sharon walked backwards, pulling on and wheeling it out, I was pulling the wire. Now let's go ahead and let's tie it up here with the handle. This is our final step. If you, Sharon, could you zoom in for a second? As you can tell how this is going to work, I'm going to fasten this up in like this. And that's going to make my final connection. Okay. And the way this is going to work, once I pull it away off that loop, it opens up the circuit. Okay. But normally what we do, we turn it off at the power source, so this way we don't get electrocuted. And then when we open up the gate, we'll lean it on the fence. We go in, we go out, we take care of business, we close the gate, and then when we're done, when we're on the other side, we'll just hook it up, and that closes the circuit. Now, why we did this was because the goat was showing, was demonstrating that he wanted to jump the fence. As you can tell, the females are on that side, and he's getting to that point where he wants to be very active. So to teach, so he doesn't learn a bad habit, we went ahead and ran the fence. So here we are. We have a complete loop, which it's a complete circle. Now what we need to do is introduce voltage to the wire. So we're going to pause one more time, and I'm going to show you the source of the controller and how we ran some insulator through another paddock to get voltage here. This, again, running the voltage from there to here is temporary until we get our telephone pole up and put an outlet in so that we can also have cameras monitoring not only this paddock, but this also paddock and the one behind us, which is the other where the ram sheep is. So let's pause for a second and let's do the final hookup to get voltage to this area. Okay, welcome to the final stage of the paddock for the goat. Now, here's the fence energizer. Earlier we talked about the tester. As you can see, as you get closer, it starts beeping. And the way this works is, this is I believe a 7-mile fence energizer. The one side is where the hot circuit is. The other side is where the ground is. And if you watch where that wire goes down, it goes all the way to this ground rod down here. Okay. The other side connects to the fence wire. This is the existing fence for these particular the sheeps. Now, as you can tell, where we tied into the new area for the goat on that project, and again, this is all temporary until we get a telephone pole on that side. As you can see, is right here. Okay, we tied it into there, and what that does is it energizes the other electrical fence. So if you walk along this way, it goes through this paddock. This is where we do our gardening. We ran out of handles for the gates. So that's another, so we had to temporarily make our connections. And I'll show you how I did that. So Sharon was due here. To continue the circuit, as you can see, it's continuing on this side. We'll get one of those handle insulators so we can open up this gate. We came through here, and again, we have another gate here, so we're going to have to put another insulator here. As you can see, we still got voltage, all right? The currents are still running through. And how we energized this one, we came through insulators here, and this is the one that we were finalizing too. So we completed the circuit here by introducing voltage. Now, this is the end of the electrical side of this project. I believe what we promised, we showed you how to do the water trough. So that's going to be our next project. So hang on tight. We'll see you on the next project.